Hey guys, today I'll be discussing this Java program I wrote that goes onto a website, grabs some information, and displays the weather for any city in the world that we want to look for. So to run the program, let's see what it does. It asks us, do we want to save it? No, let's not save it for now. Let's go, what's the city? Chicago? Chicago, and bam, we have the current date and time. We have the conditions, the temperature in Fahrenheit, the high, the low, the sunrise, and the sunset. Would you like to see the weather for another city? Yes or no? Sure. Let's see it for San Diego. And there we go. And do you want to do it again? No. So if we want to take another route and we want to say, do we want to save it? Yes. What's the name of the file we're going to create? Let's say weather1.txt. Why not? Enter city. Let's go for Los Angeles. Okay, and we can see that they didn't display here, but the results are going to be displayed in the file. And it says, would I like to do another one? No, that's fine. And then one more time around, if we're going to save it, yes. What file do we want to use? Let's use that same one we just used. It tells us the file exists. The result will be appended. So we just had for Los Angeles, let's do it for New York. There it goes. It asks us if we want to do another one, and no, we don't. We can see that that file we just called, weather1, it has the original from Los Angeles, and then it didn't delete, but rather appended New York the second time around. So that's what this program does. If we look at it, this is the main function, get weather report, and it runs on a do while loop. So every time we want to try again, which is another function, we will be doing this. And what this function does is it creates a city name, it gets a URL. That URL is the website that we're going to be getting this information from, and it uses the city inside that URL. We grab the connection, we get the get, and then from there we get all the information from that website and we produce it into a data structure called a JSON. And from there, we get all the information. This guy is a little bit fancy. We'll discuss that in a bit. But this prints out all the information, parsing through the JSON. But yeah, let's start here with the initialize function. So we see our main, and our main just calls initialize. Initialize calls, it gets all the variables that we need and then passes it to our big function, get weather report, with those variables. But I'm going to go back now to that fancy thing I was talking about. Right here, this means standard out, system.out, means we get to see all the information in this console right here. But we can see right here another print stream. This one says file output stream to a file name. And that file name is what the user says, and it's now going to be output streamed into that file that they gave. That's why we don't see it here when they say they want to save the file, but rather we see it here in this guy. So, but we can also see that we're not just writing to the outputted file and coming back. We're not just writing to the file and calling it good. We're also coming back. So that's why we take it to the file, the output, and then we take it back here to the standard output. So that's what I was doing and having fun with this morning. And so we can see save file. It asks us if we want to save, write to the file. It does what we just said, and then create and write says, okay, you want to save? Yes. So create a file. We come on, we create a file, and it checks if that file exists right here. And if it does not exist, then we create that file. But if it does exist, then we just depend onto that file. And we can see right here, get city, it passes in all these parameters. And that's because right here, it calls get weather report, which needs all these parameters. So get city, it checks to see if the city's good. It goes to the website and it says, is this city that we typed in a valid URL address? And the only way it's going to be a valid URL address is if that's a real city or not. So this line of code it executes it and it says, okay, if it went through, then we're good. We don't need to do this exception. We can just return the city. But if it didn't go through, then that means the city we requested was bad, and we ask them if they want to try again. And then we go back to weather report. We start it all over again. Capitalize, it just capitalizes the first letter of every word. Try again is the Boolean function that allows the user to keep on trying it again if they want to. Kelvin to Fahrenheit is what this function does, because in the information we get from the website, it returns back in Kelvin, but we want in a more familiar data structure, so we use it with Fahrenheit. Get time. This function uses a data type called date, and with date, we can take all of the time in milliseconds from the epoch, which is what computers use to relate to time. So all the milliseconds from the epoch, and the epoch is January 1st, 1970. So all of the milliseconds from then till now is what the current time will be. However, we have to incorporate time zone. Now, when we do the milliseconds, it automatically goes to this UTC time zone, which is Greenwich, England. If we want the time zone for the place we're going, then we go to the time zone provided in the website information, and we times it by 1,000 because the website provides seconds, not milliseconds. So that's kind of cool, but that's all really fancy and it's not too important. And then of course we get here, which we mentioned at the beginning. And yeah, the program works, and I'm happy with it. So thanks for watching.